Come here, child. Yes, sit close. The night is calm, the wind is gentle, and the stars seem to be listening. It reminds me of the old evenings in our village when life was slow and hearts were soft. When people didn't rush to speak, they rushed to help. When faith wasn't a reason to fight, it was a reason to love a little more. I want to tell you something today, not a tale from a book, not a story from a movie, but a memory carved into my heart. A story from a time when people prayed differently, but lived as one soul. In those days, our village was small. Mud houses, thatched roofs, narrow lanes, and evenings filled with the fragrance of fresh roses and burning firewood. Everyone knew everyone. If someone sneezed on one side of the village, a blessing would come from the other. And in that little world lived two men, Yusuf and Gopal, childhood friends, inseparable. One prayed in the mosque, the other in the temple. One wore a cap, the other a tilak. But child, symbols never mattered because their friendship was older than both faiths combined. Their homes stood side by side, separated by a tiny mud wall, so low that goats could jump over it and children could sit on it with dangling legs. Every morning, Yusuf's wife, Amina, would pass fresh rotis to Gopal's wife, Lakshmi, across that wall. And in return, Lakshmi would send vegetables she grew herself. Green chilies, tomatoes, gourds shining like glass. Faiths were different, child, but flavors were shared. Every Friday, Yusuf would wake before dawn, bathe in cold water, and prepare for prayers. And do you know who swept the path leading to the mosque? Gopal's wife, quietly, lovingly, without ever being asked. And whenever the temple had a celebration, Yusuf would gather the young boys and hang colorful lights across the courtyard. The whole street would glow as if stars had come down to celebrate. That was our village. Simple, soft-hearted, full of respect. But time has a way of testing what we value most. One year, the summer arrived like a punishment. The sky was clear for months. No clouds, no mercy. The ground cracked like old skin. The trees drooped. Even the birds sat silently, waiting for a miracle. The pond dried up. The streams became winding scars of dust. The wells shrank, their echo sounding hollow and frightening. People began to worry. Pots, buckets, clay jars, everyone lined them up in hopes of water. But water was not hope that year. It was fear. At the center of our village stood an ancient well. No one knew who built it. Some believed a wandering saint blessed it. Some said a king once offered prayers here. Some said it was a miracle. But we never argued about it. It simply belonged to all of us, just like air, just like sunlight. One morning, when the sun rose red like fire, Yusuf came to the well with his bucket. Gopal arrived moments later, wiping sweat from his forehead. They exchanged a tired smile, but when they looked down, their faces changed. There was barely any water left, a single bucketful, maybe less. Enough for one family, not for two, not for a village. People gathered slowly, women, children, elders. Everyone looked into the well with fear in their eyes. A silence spread so deep that even the breeze held its breath. Yusuf sighed. Gopal lowered his eyes, and both stepped back at the same time. "You take it," Yusuf whispered. "No, brother, it is yours," Gopal replied gently. "No," Yusuf insisted. "Your grandson has fever. Your home needs it more. And your wife has been fasting in this heat," Gopal answered. "She needs it far more than us." Child, in that moment, faith stood still. Religion didn't speak through books or rules, it spoke through hearts. They kept sliding the bucket toward the other, refusing to take the last drop. People watched in awe. Some cried, some prayed silently. But then something unexpected happened. From the crowd stepped an elderly Christian woman named Mary. Simple clothes, silver hair, hands wrinkled like folded paper. She walked slowly, but her presence felt stronger than the sun above. She raised her hands and placed them gently on both men's shoulders. "If you two can give up water for each other," she said in her soft voice, "then heaven will not let this village die." She turned to everyone and said, "Stand together, all of you. Today, your unity is the prayer God wants to hear." And so we did. Muslims, Hindus, Christians, farmers, tailors, teachers, old men, mothers, children, everyone joined hands and formed a circle around the well. No one asked who should stand where. No one questioned whose prayer mattered more. Hearts aligned themselves without being told. Mary closed her eyes and prayed. Others whispered their prayers, different words, different gods, one hope. At first, nothing happened. Then, the earth shifted slightly. A soft rumble rose from below, like the groan of a waking giant. People froze. The sound grew louder. And then, from the dark belly of the well, water began to rise, slowly, then faster, then overflowing over the stones. Children screamed joyfully. Women cried. Men bowed their heads in disbelief. Some said it was a miracle. Some said the water below the earth found a passage. But everyone agreed on one thing. It was unity that saved us. People ran to fill their buckets, but no one pushed. No one grabbed more than they needed, because that day, water was no longer just water. It was a reminder of who we were. After the villagers took turns, Yusuf and Gopal filled their buckets last. They looked at each other with tears rising in their eyes. Neither took the last drop. Neither took more than the other. Both carried home enough to survive. That evening, as the sky turned gold, Yusuf and Gopal sat by the well. Children played beside them. Women laughed softly. Birds returned to their nests. The call to prayer from the mosque rose gently into the sky. Right after, the temple bells rang sweetly. Moments later, the church bell chimed from the hill. 3 sounds, 3 melodies, 1 harmony. Child, listen carefully. Faith is not about proving yourself right. Faith is not about shouting louder than others. Faith is kindness when kindness is needed most. Faith is sacrifice when sacrifice hurts. Faith is choosing love when hate feels easier. Today, people argue about religion like it is a sword. But in our time, religion was a lantern, soft, warm, guiding us toward each other. Never let the world shrink your heart. Respect every prayer, every belief, every place of worship. Because God does not live inside walls. God lives in moments like this, in a bucket of water refused, in a hand held across a boundary, in a prayer whispered for someone else's happiness. Remember this story, child. Carry it with you. And when you grow up, make the world a place where no one is judged for the way they pray, but for the way they love.